lotions have you tried?
About 1,000,000 lotion.
Until I tried Jurgens Ultra Healing Lotion.
Why Jurgens?
It works with your skin, not just on it.
It penetrates to heal dry skin from within.
I love the way it makes my skin feel.
Ultra Healing Lotion, another beautiful idea from today's Jurgens.
It's coming. The misery of a cold and the power to fight it. All the power of Alka-Seltzer Plus Cold Medicine is taking shape in Alka-Seltzer Plus Liquid Gels. Rushing concentrated medicines to relieve your worst cold symptoms. Rush relief with Alka-Seltzer Plus Liquid Gels. Got the flu? Try new Alka-Seltzer Plus Flu and Body Aches Liquid Gels.
Melatonin, it's making news. Melatonin, people are excited about it. Now, General Nutrition Centers has melatonin in 3 milligram tablets or new sublingual liquid. General Nutrition, it's America's melatonin headquarters.
Working toward the weekend? Watch the Weekend Outlook to find out what the temperatures will be and if there's a chance of rain. Only on the Weather Channel.
Well, we take a look at Europe right now, and things are really spinning around off the west coast on into the Atlantic, as you can see on our satellite photograph. Not too much action now over Russia. It's cold, but not as cold as it has been. And here we are spinning up toward the northern British Isles, low pressure and rain coming in from the Bay of Biscay. Let's take a look at the temperatures right now, and you'll see why it is raining. Mild weather in Paris for this month of the year, and London in the 50s, Rome 55, and then you get slowly but surely below freezing as you go on into Russia. You've been right on the borderline of freezing, depending on where you are in Bosnia and Croatia and all those areas in the Balkans where the troops are gathering, so it gets a little cagey underfoot between snow and melting snow continuing. But rain sweeping on in from the western parts of Europe. Now 20s in the eastern part of Europe on into Russia with teens and some much milder weather to the west. A few spot cities, Brussels fairly mild, low 40s, and Rome cloudy skies. More on the winter storm coming up.
Used to be just one way to get through an icy winter.
Walk like a penguin.
But now there's a better way. SafeStep Ice Melter, so you don't have to.
Walk like a penguin.
SafeStep won't harm grass, won't stain carpets, and works even below zero. SafeStep Ice Melter, tough on ice, gentle on everything else. Pick some up today, or else you might.
Walk like a penguin.
Look for SafeStep Ice Melter at a store or janitorial supply distributor near you.
Sun, snow, rain, or fog. Know what to expect. Just 95 cents a minute. Dial 1-900-WEATHER and connect.
Daniels, Pontiac, Oldsmobile, Cadillac, GMC Truck. Where new car shoppers become new car buyers. Why? Price. Daniels presents the sporty and economical Pontiac Grand Am, starting at $13,300. And GMC Trucks start at an unbeatable $10,500. Shop Daniels and you'll be a happy car buyer too. Routes 5 and 20, Geneva.
Sales, we're the people to see for your heating, electrical, and plumbing needs.
Diamond kitchen cabinets are offered in a wide selection of styles and colors. They're constructed with the finest materials and craftsmanship to ensure the superior quality that you deserve. As always, your countertop is free when you purchase your kitchen at HEP Sales.
At HEP Sales, with all that we've got, you've got it made.
You're watching the Weather Channel for accurate forecasts at your convenience. Weather you can always turn to.
All right, let's check what's going on now on the Alaska-Hawaii picture. First of all, the satellite vantage point. There's a great big low up in the Gulf of Alaska. As you can see, it's coming in from the international dateline. We'll have to track that one pretty carefully. Over the mainland, though, it's not too bad. It's cold. Temperature's running about 13 below last check in the Fairbanks area. Meanwhile, as far as the actual numbers go, no, we don't want that guy. Let's go back. Actual numbers, 70 in Honolulu, 71 around Kahului, and how about around Hilo? We check in with about 69 degrees. Now, up towards Alaska we go. There you go, 14 below at this hour in the Fairbanks area. The redeeming feature about today's weather, we're gaining minutes again. Precious daylight, gaining about 4 or 5 over yesterday. Anchorage checks in at 5. That's cold for the coast, and 36 around the Juneau area. The wind chills a factor? Yes, they are. 32 below is how it feels in Fairbanks. We'll have the winter storm update tracking the radar scope with that heavy snow coming across Lehigh Valley in eastern PA. That's next.
I've driven this road hundreds of times, but I never really noticed it until about 6 weeks ago, around the time I started using Jensana. Jensana is a natural supplement. My daughter gave me a box. Said it helps my body use oxygen better. It makes the most of my natural energy. All I know is I feel better, more alive. Jensana opened my eyes to a more energetic me, and to all this.
Feel your Jensana, the original all-natural energizer.
I don't see them. I think we're safe.
Of course we're safe. We're in my Subaru Outback.
I know the world's first sport utility wagon.
This beauty's got dual airbags, full-time all-wheel drive, and it's more stable in the turn than a Blazer.
What else you got?
Better braking than an Explorer. That's my Subaru Outback, the world's first sport utility wagon.
Visit your nearest Subaru dealer today to experience the beauty of all-wheel drive.
The winter storm update is sponsored by SafeStep, America's leading brand of ice melter. Now the airports, they are shut. Boston, LaGuardia, JFK, Newark. So all the Boston area airports, at least the ones that serve commercial traffic, New York area, Washington, Philadelphia area, and Richmond, you are all shut for the time being. And we'll let you know more about that later on today. So again, I'm sure it's snarling. All sorts of traffic out of the hubs. I know Delta's got a big hub in Cincinnati, for instance, and also some of the other hubs for Continental and American. I'm sure some major problems out of Chicago getting folks back east. Philadelphia, this is incredible. 29.5 inches of snow. The old record was 21 inches set in the big blizzard of '83. We blew out that old record. Roanoke, 22.2. Lynchburg, Virginia, not too far to the east at 20. And Cincinnati, Ohio, about 13 inches. Now, the snow continues to fly in eastern PA and also into New Jersey and southern New York. Still getting clocked pretty good. Elizabeth, New Jersey, unofficially 32 inches. 32 inches of snow. That's more than the New York area gets annually. And already this year, we've probably had about 25 or so in Elizabeth. Washington, D.C., 25. There's Philadelphia at 30 again. Roanoke, 22. We're going to update New York. It's actually 23, I believe. But again, we're talking about an inch when you're talking about 2 feet. Providence, 18. Hartford, 15. Boston, now about a foot of snow. And the snowfall amassing has been just mind-boggling in parts of Kentucky, parts of West Virginia, anywhere in the purple, 2 feet to 4 feet of snow. That's right, 4 feet of snow reported around Pocahontas County. And once again, that's right about in here. We've had reports of locally 3 feet right along the southern and western Virginia border. And Mike Bono told me there was a report of 40 inches down around Mount Rogers. That is in extreme southern Virginia. York County, PA checks in with about, 32 to 34 inches we hear. And look at that corridor. Philadelphia, Trenton, New Brunswick, all the way up into New York, anywhere from 24 to about 27 or 28 inches. Newark, you had an all-time record as well at about 28 inches of snow. There's your culprit, low pressure. It's kind of strung out. It continues to extend back, actually, to about Atlantic City. The problem is still the onshore flow continues in Boston and also around the Cape Cod area, and the beaches are still getting battered up around Truro and on down towards the Coast Guard beach on the Cape. This area just taking a pounding. The water is getting into Long Island Sound, too, and at the times of high tide, pretty serious flooding still reported up in southern Connecticut, for instance, around the Stamford area. And once again, we're getting more of an offshore flow now down through the Delmarva, down the Tidewater. Kind of a two-pronged problem here. We also have the Sound side or the Bay side flooding around the Chesapeake Bay area. That's a possibility. And also now the rain-snow line is pulled on out, so this area in the Tidewater, the south side, which had been rain much of yesterday, is now snow. It's not too heavy, thankfully, maybe another inch or two. Heavier snows, we're guessing again. Hard to say when this monstrosity is going to pull on out for good, but anywhere from southern Maine down to about Groton, Connecticut, conservatively 3 to 6 inches of more snow. Even around New York City, some more problems, a pretty good bet. Again, the coastal flooding in Long Island Sound, as well as Sound side flooding on the Outer Banks with that offshore flow. So it's on the Outer Banks, but is on the Sound side where the problems are most evident. Still some storm warnings. Fenwick Island, Delaware, up to the Merrimack River. We're talking about offshore winds here anywhere from 45 to about 70 miles per hour. And with that low south of you, that's still an onshore flow. Let's show you the satellite picture, see what's going on here. And you can see our low pressure area. You can see the turn right about in here. That's the center. Still this color-enhanced picture from Maine down to about the Tidewater. That's where some heavier snow continues to fall. And we want to show you that one radar view, take you on into the New York City area. Boston, down through the Berkshires, some heavy snow, down through Hartford, Wallingford, Connecticut, right on down along I-95, some heavy snowfall. Reports coming in Fairfield County of better than 2 feet around the New Canaan and Darien area. And there's the city on the shore, some snow. Everything rotating southeastward. Another band still out by the Delaware Valley and the Lehigh Valley. Slowly things will be improving as the day wears on. It's all heading southeast. Travel weather next.
Used to be just one way to get through an icy winter.
Walk like a penguin.
But now there's a better way. Safe Step Ice Melter, so you don't have to.
Walk like a penguin.
Safe Step won't harm grass, won't stain carpets, and works even below zero. Safe Step Ice Melter, tough on ice, gentle on everything else. Pick some up today, or else you might.
Walk like a penguin.
Look for Safe Step Ice Melter at a store or janitorial supply distributor near you.
You ready?
Yes.
Tell me what you smell.
I have no idea.
You're really stuffed.
Yes.
I have a nasal spray I want to give you. Now, what do you smell?
That's an orange.
You got it. Curious about the product?
Dristan.
Dristan 12-hour nasal spray.
Man, I can breathe.
Guess what? They just got in those new reduced fat Gardettos at the store.
Reduced fat?
Uh-huh.
Some people will do anything for the robust taste of reduced fat Gardettos.
Know what conditions to expect when you reach your destination. Watch the Business Travel Forecast, only on the Weather Channel. Weather you can always turn to.
And now it's time for the Michelin Drivers Report, brought to you by Michelin and your participating Michelin dealers.
Traveling out there today, good luck. I don't think it's allowed, actually. A lot of eastern PA, all of New Jersey, southern New York, and that's the case as well in a lot of Connecticut, Rhode Island, and about the southern half of Massachusetts. Let's show you the radar view down around the Delmarva Peninsula now. See what's happening. There's your snow on Route 13. Snow's thankfully ending in Baltimore and Washington. Still snowing down I-64 down towards Franklin and Norfolk and down into the Virginia Beach area. You may see another inch or two here. This is all working finally offshore. Back to our maps, our snowy travel maps nationwide, taking in some of the west on I-15 and also parts of I-90 through the passes of Washington State. Very gusty winds. That'll be a downsloping wind, so a crosswind on I-25 in Wyoming. Still blustery winds. Now the winds, as our low goes by, will start turning from the northeast more to the northwest later on today around the big cities. And there's some of your rainy travel in the northwest.
Presenting the ultimate tire for your sport utility vehicle, the Michelin LTX. Michelin's technological advances in sidewall and tread design give it a smoother, quieter ride than you might ever expect from a 4x4 tire. Yet it's rugged enough, tough enough, Michelin enough to get you through anything. The LTX series from Michelin.
Find Michelin tires at this dealer near you, because so much is riding on your tires.
What are you planning to do for the weekend?
Go to the park. Beach volleyball.
I do my flowers.
Jogging.
Play basketball.
Bicycle.
I fish, yeah.
Before you plan, watch the Weekend Outlook.
If you're planning something, you can find out what to expect.
It's good to know if my weekend's going to be indoors or outdoors.
Watch the Weekend Outlook, only on the Weather Channel. And now your local forecast. Accurate, convenient, and dependable, only on the Weather Channel.
Is a special edition of WeatherScope with the latest winter storm update.
Thanks for tuning into the Weather Channel for this coverage of the blizzard of 1996. I'm Mike Bono, and I'll be with you throughout the afternoon. We have Bill Keneally and Declan Cannon here at the Weather Channel, and we're taking a look at some of the tremendous snows and some pictures of the snows we've seen in the Northeast. First, we're going to take you on into New York City, which got blasted with heavy snow. In Central Park, looks like the coneheads have arrived. The frozen Big Apple, even the statues shivering. The best way to get around in the park was on cross-country skis. Central Park received more than a foot of snow. I think last count they're up to 18.5 inches in the park, and even more than that around the New York metro area. In Massachusetts, wind, snow, and turbulent surf were some of the elements that the storm brought to coastal New England. Tides were 2 to 2.5 feet above normal. Visibility was also a problem on Cape Cod, as in many areas in this blizzard. We've had reports of mountainous waves of 10 to 15 feet crashing on the surf around Boston, the North Shore, Cape Ann, and very high tides too. Now, let's take a look at some of the history of this storm. We're looking at some purple areas that we're showing that are kind of unusual. We have to come up with a new color code. The bright white areas are areas that have had over a foot from southern Massachusetts through southeast New York all the way down to the northeast Georgia mountains. We had over a foot of snow at the Sky Valley Ski Resort. Now, some of the purple areas are 2 feet. We've had over 2 feet in the coal fields of eastern Kentucky. Also, southeastern Virginia. We've had up to 37 inches in the mountains around Snowshoe, West Virginia, 2 feet in the mountains of North Carolina, and up to 40 inches at an outpost called High Knob in southwestern Virginia out of just this storm. Amounts were truly amazing. Elizabeth, New Jersey with 32 inches, Philadelphia, their all-time record of 30 inches of snow. Washington, D.C., Dulles coming up close to that President's Day total of 27 inches. And New York City's LaGuardia, 24 inches of snow. knocking on the door of that 1978 blizzard in February, where parts of Long Island had 27 inches. Now let's take a look at some of the all-time 24-hour snowfall records. Philly got 29.5 inches in less than 24 hours. Roanoke and Lynchburg both over 20, and Cincinnati, Ohio, a full 12.8 inches of snow. Now this has affected the airports really severely. In fact, it's very simple and very clear. Boston is closed. JFK right on down the corridor into Washington, closed, still shoveling snow, still de-icing the runways. It's just a very, very difficult situation in the northeastern United States. We also have word that the New York City schools will be closed again tomorrow for the second day in a row. First time in 18 years that they've even closed all the New York City schools. And several states in the state of emergency, Pittsburgh, the state of Pennsylvania, New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut, states of emergency have been declared. This is truly one for the record books. Let's take a look at the satellite shot right now, and we'll put that on into motion. As you can see, all that energy moving on offshore. All those colors you can see east of New England are some of the high cloud tops with the intense rain east of the low. There is some rain still with this storm, but off to the west, the band of snow from parts of New England down on right along the coastline. This is truly a coastal storm right now, with the cold air sweeping on southward to about the Gulf Coast. You can see where that low is located, south of Cape Cod. We had a report from Massachusetts of 5 inches of snow in 1 hour at Gloucester, north of Boston, and Boston's still snowing quite heavily. It's not over in Massachusetts. Down to New York City, it's not over either. Last hurrah, a band of snow coming on into New York, into New Jersey. Much drier air back toward the west, just plain old cold in western New York, Pennsylvania. There are some parts of upstate New York, like around Binghamton, that didn't have any snow out of this. As this radar goes into motion, you'll see that we have a pretty solid band of snow through Long Island, down through New Jersey, and east of Washington now, over parts of the Delmarva, and certainly Massachusetts is getting hit hard. You can see that banding of snow backing in from the ocean, and that's what's giving you up to 5 inches an hour in Massachusetts. Zooming on into New York, yes, it's letting up in parts of northern New Jersey, but southern Connecticut and parts of Long Island and the city itself still getting some fairly moderate snow coming on through. Zooming in even harder, you can see Philadelphia getting an intermittent fall of snow, but on toward, say, Lakehurst and Wrightstown, the snow's still falling at a steady pace. You could get another inch or two, or even 3 in parts of New Jersey and New York State. But Washington's looking much better. Baltimore, the clouds are breaking. Baltimore could end up having their largest snowfall on record out of this storm. There's a future snowfall forecast, still 3 to 6 inches from the Maine coast down to parts of Cape Cod, maybe even more in eastern Massachusetts. But still, we're getting those coastal flood warnings, Massachusetts and Long Island Sound, for waters that could be up to 6 feet above normal in Long Island, and the marine warnings are out, the storm warnings for 55 to 60 mile-an-hour winds in New England. Well, that's the wrap-up on the storm. We're going to keep you posted on the northeast weather situation and other parts of the country. Now back to the studio with Declan for the forecast.
Okay, thanks a lot, Mike. Let's check it out for you. The good afternoon forecast. Our first stop, though, is to the west to see what's going on currently. We've had some airport delays also in the west, but this time it's due to some very thick fog right over the valley in California. Also in the Pacific Northwest, we have some higher pressure building in behind that departing cold front. There's your front from northwest Montana heading southwest to just off the southern Oregon coast in Curry County. Now north and west of this front, some cooler air's coming in, but there's still lots of low-level moisture, so we've had some fairly dense fog causing some travel problems and a bit of precipitation in the form of snow in the mountains of Montana and also in eastern Idaho, and the rain continues over southwestern Oregon, but we don't have the intensity of the rain, at least at this hour, that we had yesterday, when parts of coastal Oregon and up into the coastal ranges picked up quite a bit of rainfall. High pressure over the Four Corners, a warm front. Now this represents some milder air which originated in the Pacific, has crossed the Rockies, has dried out considerably, but as that warmer Pacific Ocean type of air continues its trek east, it runs up over the top of that colder air, so we do have some clouds and some patchy freezing drizzle. Now, as far as the specifics on the forecast, this is what we see happening. Tomorrow morning, our storm is now pushed out well to the northeast. We still have some lingering snow, perhaps down east Maine, along the coast of Maine. Winds will still be buffeting the coastline. High pressure builds into the Gulf Coast. We'll have that typical Four Corners high. It's a kind of a favored position for the high this time of the year. And our frontal system in the west drops a little farther south. Looks like another surge of wet weather could move into Washington and Oregon. Not a particularly strong weather system, but that trough will move across Washington and Oregon and head into western Montana by the end of the day. There'll be some increasing rain and snow with that weather feature, and the first front is making its way south into the northern third of the valley in California. High pressure, a cold one though, over Kansas and northbound. Looks like another surge of cold air comes out of Canada into the lakes in New England. This will be a fast-moving cold front, not a lot of precipitation with it, and especially considering after what we've just dealt with over the mid-Atlantic and what we will deal with in the Northeast. Now this weather system, not exactly a major player. Precipitation amounts should be highest in southern Oregon today into northwest coastal California, especially up in some of the hills. And the lows by tomorrow morning, they're going to go way down in parts of northern and central Florida with clear skies and light winds. We'll check your skiers' forecast next.
There's no special occasion, no house guests. It's not even a holiday. It just seemed like a nice night for a Duraflame fire. Duraflame, the secret of fire.
Introducing the bath bar that might convince you to switch.
Some products say new, and you're always skeptical of new, but this is new. The proof was in my skin.
The revolutionary new formula bath bar from Oil of Olay.
This is more. This is like the next level.
Well, after 12 years, our house has a new bath bar. Even my mother switched.
It's a whole new concept for a bath bar. Olay moisturizers and cleansers form a light, non-greasy lotion in the lather, so it leaves skin more moisturized than the leading beauty bar.
My skin was so much smoother, and they convinced me I may never need body lotion again.
In fact, we'll guarantee it. After 5 days with the totally new Oil of Olay bath bar, if you're not amazed by how much more moisturized your skin feels, call and we'll buy you your old brand. Your skin's never been so moisturized from a bar.
And now your local forecast. Accurate, convenient, and dependable. Only on the Weather Channel.
Slick 50 Advanced Formula Engine Treatment can be found at the following fine retailers.
You could take this for your stuffy nose, this for the cough, this for the aches and pains, or you could take Comtrex. Comtrex has all the medicine you need to relieve all your major cold symptoms. So why take all these when Comtrex does it all?
No matter how much you plan, if business travel keeps you on the road or up in the air, you're probably used to the unexpected. At the Weather Channel, we know the weather can slow you down. That's why we offer the Business Travel Forecast. Get the information you need to plan for your travel and know what conditions to expect when you reach your destination. The Business Travel Forecast on the Weather Channel. Weather you can always turn to.
Time to head to the slopes. This hour we go to the west. Whistler, beautiful Whistler in British Columbia. 3 inches of new snow with a 61-inch base. It's all open. 100% of the skiable terrain is open for your skiing pleasure. And powder conditions reported at Whistler as of early this morning. Also, plenty of powder and packed powder can be found throughout Utah and Colorado. North Star up in the Sierra, groomed conditions with a 13 to 24-inch base. A little bit of snow. We've had 4 inches of new powder up at Timberline in Oregon. Extended forecast, basically a ridge of high pressure dominating the west, but from time to time a bit of snow pushing south through the Rockies.
Tuesday coming up. For your own sake, save it. Serve Rosetto pasta. Your family will get an authentic pasta dinner with the ease of boiling water. And your Tuesday dinner experience will change. Sibling rivalry will disappear. Telemarketers will stop calling. The dog will lie down with the cat. And a calm will descend as Rosetto's tender tortellini with its ricotta romano and Parmesan cheeses finds its mark. So get the Rosetto out of the freezer case. It works. It's been tested by people with mouths. And Tuesday can happen any minute now.
International weather. Now, 42 minutes after every hour, only on the Weather Channel. Weather you can always turn to.
Sun, snow, rain, or fog. Know what to expect. Just 95 cents a minute. Dial 1-900-WEATHER and connect.
Phelps Cement Products remind you the hearth has always been the heart of the home. But today, energy costs, fuel availability, and air quality have made fireplace and stove heating even more important. That's why Phelps Cement Products offers full product lines in all 5 fuel types. Your lifestyle will be your choice. See a demonstration of name brand fireplace and stove manufacturers at Phelps Cement Products.
Hi, I'm John Van Paris from Van Paris Associates. We're an independent insurance agency that works for you, not an insurance company.
Van Paris offers a window of security in your home and for your business through many major insurance companies. Van Paris professional agents analyze your insurance requirements through risk management to greatly reduce insurance costs. And Van Paris shows you how to get there with cost and coverage comparisons. When Van Paris calls, it pays.
If you're about to travel, watch the 5-Day Business Planner here on the Weather Channel at 20 minutes after every hour. You get a comprehensive national report that covers the forecast over the next 5 days. Watch the 5-Day Business Planner coming up soon on the Weather Channel.
It's time for the Good Afternoon Forecast, sponsored by Healthy Choice Soups. Eat what you like. Our forecast this afternoon features our big storm pushing its way farther to the northeast, but the wind and the heavy snow at times will continue to pound eastern sections of New England. And don't forget, we still have the potential for additional high surf and some beach erosion until this system gets far enough away. Now, tomorrow morning, it's moving farther away. We have a new system. This one drops out of Canada and works its way quickly into the Great Lakes. There'll be some snow with this, just very insignificant, actually, compared to what we've been going through. And it gets a little sloppy in the Pacific Northwest. More rain in the forecast, more snow in the mountains. So we've had some thick fog today scattered over Washington and especially in the valley in California. We think with the new weather system coming in, the atmosphere is starting to turn things up a little bit. We'll start to drop some of this fog out of the picture, but we will replace it with some rain in California. Northwest coast of California, perhaps some heavier rain in the next 24 to 36 hours, and a bit of increasing snow in the mountains in Idaho.
This is a really beautiful day. Soup weather. There's this cream of chicken with vegetables from Healthy Choice. That is rich stuff. Great big vegetables, lean chicken. Just makes you feel good. And only has 2 grams of fat. Beautiful. With Healthy Choice, I can eat what I like.
When it comes to travel, there are 2 companies who can cover the world like nobody else. So whether you're up north or down south, far to the east or out west, now there's a new credit card that turns whatever you buy into free travel. Delta Airlines in the sky, American Express on the ground, and a way to earn more Sky Miles faster. The new Delta Sky Miles credit card from American Express.
Melatonin, it's making news. Melatonin, people are excited about it. Now, General Nutrition Centers has melatonin in 3 milligram tablets or new sublingual liquid. General Nutrition, it's America's melatonin headquarters.
Exposures is a weekly show about the raw power of nature.
There's a gas leak! Let's go! Come on, that way!
Earthquakes, hurricanes, tornadoes.
Look at this structure!
It's a show packed with amazing photography, new technology, and vital information. Because no matter where you live, dangerous weather exists. It affects you.
We weren't prepared for this type of devastation.
It touches your life.
Watch Exposures, weekends at noon Eastern on the Weather Channel.
Well, let's take you through the next 5 days with the business planner. The storm track has set up in a manner that what we have is a big ridge of high pressure over the western third of the country and a trough of low pressure over the east. This big upper air trough responsible for helping to generate our significant storm, which is finally on the way out during this afternoon and tonight. As it's moving farther away from the New England coast, it's still going to dump some heavy snow over eastern New England. It's snowing very hard right now up around Cape Ann, north of Boston, and then that heavy snow band extends westward towards Worcester. And we'll have a look at some satellite pictures and a couple of radars for you in just a few minutes. Next weather system coming down to take over. This will bring another shield of some snow, but the accumulations, again, I guess are going to appear very insignificant after what we've been through, but still additional snow is expected. High pressure over the plains and getting a little bit more inclement in the west. We won't have as much fog, but what we will have instead of that is some rain pushing from northern into central California as we go through the next 36 to 48 hours. The high temperatures today being held down by the cloud cover, very windy, so it's going to feel considerably colder over eastern New England and then extending west into the mountains, the Poconos, and northeast Pennsylvania. There are the highs coming up, perhaps a bit of a rapid warm-up in the deep south, especially by Wednesday. And then things start cooling off as the next system is forecast to drop south and energize, somewhat similar to the last one. The jet stream could actually end up plunging pretty far to the south. Look at the warmth in the southwest. Big ridge of high pressure in the west, increasingly big trough along the eastern seaboard as we get into the weekend. Highs again will be plummeting over parts of the mid-south, but it stays comfortable. If you like the warm air, the southwest and southern California is the place you need to be in the next 5 days. Wednesday's weather map, a light mix, freezing drizzle, sleet, and some snow. We'll have some snow showers in the northeast as the colder northwest winds blow into the region. And then you can see the wind starting to pick up in the northern Rockies by Thursday. Here's the setup as we see it. The longer range computer models are still being consistent with yesterday's forecast of an intensifying storm developing off the Carolinas and then scooting to the northeast. We'll see a period of snow move through the Ohio Valley, and then you'll notice rain possibly changing to some snow before ending in parts of the southern Appalachians. The winds will kick up. Strong jet stream goes to the south. The storm perhaps reforming on the Carolina coast and then scooting northeast. So for now anyway, there's the threat of additional heavy snow in the northeast and the mid-Atlantic. It all depend on just how far south that storm is going to track initially, how much moisture it'll have, and exactly what track it takes. But at least from an upper level perspective, we have the big ridge in the west through the weekend. So again, with a big trough deepening or intensifying over the east, there's that potential that once again we'll be dealing with an East Coast type of snowstorm. Let's take a look at the satellite view over the west. You can see this area of blossoming clouds. Now watch how it expands, and we even had a little bit of yellow in there. Now that's an area of low pressure which is intensifying on the back edge of this broad area of subtropical moisture coming in. Now the air motion will probably take this and sweep it northeast bound. So even though you may be out of the rain in Oregon and parts of Washington, it'll probably roll back in within the next 24 hours. Coming out into the plains, some higher clouds sweeping towards the east into Minnesota and northern Iowa this afternoon. Pretty quiet over the southeast, but it's a cold one of the coldest ones you've had this season. And then our storm, as it continues to chart its way out to the east, but it's still throwing that moisture west of its center. So we have this large plume of moderate to very heavy snow coming in, especially just north of Boston, downtown, and then coming out into the western burbs, heading down into northeastern Connecticut. So very heavy snowfall rates within this band, and it'll just pivot around and gradually push a little farther east this afternoon. Also some very heavy snow as we head out towards Dutchess County, and also as you get out towards the Berkshire, snow perhaps at the rate of 1 to 2 inches an hour. Cold air and wind. It's called the wind chill. We'll check it out.
Have you tried multigrain Cheerios?
I did that multi-grain thing back in the 70s. I don't want to do it again.
Interesting.
Boring.
I like them.
Only 1 gram of fat. Yeah, not 1 ounce of flavor.
Very good.
A little sweet.
Crunching.
4 kinds of O's.
Toasted with a touch of brown sugar.
Okay, but this will be like deja vu all over again.
It's nutritious, but surprisingly delicious.
Oh, yeah. It's a 90s kind of thing. I like it.
Button up your overcoat when the wind is free. Take good care of yourself. You belong to me.
Bad colds need the ultimate care of Kleenex Ultra tissues. Only Ultra has an extra layer for extra softness and strength to hold every blow and feel softest on your nose.
Take good care of yourself.
Take care with the ultimate cold care.
You belong to me.
Kleenex Ultra.
Let's take a look at our wind chill report. Anytime you have very cold air and the wind is blowing considerably, it can have a noticeable effect on the way it feels outside. It's 27 in Atlanta, 21 in St. Louis, also 21 at both Minneapolis, St. Paul, and Chicago. And then you can see that cold Arctic air locked into northern New England, even in the teens in New York City with all the snow on the ground. It feels like it's anywhere from 10 to 20 below at times around the New York City metro area, and a wind chill of 1 below at Atlanta. So very cold air pouring south behind the storm. Typically when you have a storm of this magnitude, it's able to deliver a fairly extensive amount of cold air behind it, and there's so much cold air in the southeast it's going to take a while to modify it today at least. 0 to 20 above wind chills for tomorrow over the mid-south, and 20 to 40 below along the coast of Maine due to some higher winds. We'll have a look at a radar from the west for you coming up shortly.
If your car isn't performing like it used to, put back the power with Slick 50 Fuel System Formula. 10 times more powerful than the leading fuel treatment, Slick 50 cleans the entire fuel system. You'll feel the difference guaranteed. Ask for Slick 50 Fuel System Formula. More power to you.
Slick 50 Fuel System Formula can be found at the following fine retailers.
Kate, I thought you were home with a bad cold.
Oh, but now I feel better.
Did you take Sudafed for your stuffy nose, chlortrimeton for sneezing?
I only took Comtrex.
Extra strength Tylenol for headache, Robitussin maximum strength for your cough?
For a cold, why take all these when Comtrex does it all?
Working toward the weekend? Watch The Weekend Outlook to find out what the temperatures will be and if there's a chance of rain. Only on the Weather Channel. And now your local forecast. Accurate, convenient, and dependable. Only on the Weather Channel.
This is a special edition of WeatherScope with the latest winter storm update.
You are tuned to the Weather Channel. Thanks for tuning in today. Mike Bono with you for our continuing coverage of the blizzard of 1996. It has been a memorable one. We have some all-time snowfall records for some cities in the eastern seaboard already, and we can show you some pictures of what it has looked like in New York during the day today. A memorable snowstorm in New York City and environs. Wind, snow, and the frozen apple, you could call it. Even the statues shivering, covering with snow. Best way to get around has been cross-country skiing, and some folks doing that even on the street at Central Park West. The kids enjoying the park, and reports earlier in the day from Jill Brown, not a car on the road in Central Park West. How about Massachusetts? Chatham, with the waves breaking, maybe not at this particular spot, but some places on the coast have been up to 8-10 feet. Tides running 2-2.5 feet above normal. We had some minor coastal flooding in Massachusetts, but visibility was very close to zero in parts of Massachusetts, and also still a threat of some coastal flooding on the coast there, and there was some flooding in Long Island Sound as well. Let's take a look at some of the stats right now, and we'll get you updated on this mega storm. Now, we came up with a new color at the Weather Channel this time. The bright white colors from southern Mass and on into Connecticut and even down to northeast Georgia, where snowfall totals of over a foot, and some of that out over Ohio, but a dark purple color, and that corridor running around US 1 from near New York City down through Trenton, New Jersey, that's 2 feet. Even in York County, Pennsylvania, where we had some amounts up to 38 inches, up to 37 inches in the mountains of West Virginia, and Cheat Mountain around Snowshoe, and up to 24 inches or more in the ski areas of North Carolina. So it's been a memorable storm. Some of the individual tallies, and they are truly amazing. Elizabeth, New Jersey on US 1 coming in with 32 inches, Philadelphia's biggest storm ever. Dulles Dulles had 19.5 inches in 24 hours, which was a 24-hour record, now tallying at 25. New York's LaGuardia Airport already a solid 2 feet, and the record for New York City is 26.4 inches in Central Park. The park has had about 19, so no all-time record for New York. But let's take a look at some of those 24-hour tallies. And again, we'll have to add Dulles to this with over 19 inches. But Philadelphia, the biggest storm ever, the biggest 24-hour totals ever, over 20 inches in 24 hours in Southwest Virginia, and Cincinnati, Ohio, coming in with 12.8 inches of snow. Now, this has wreaked some havoc with the airports, as you would expect. With Boston closed and JFK and LaGuardia, and the New York metro area, generally, you can't get in there or out of there. Washington, National, and Dulles totally closed. Richmond, Philadelphia, airports are closed. So wreaking some havoc, and the ripple effect is there. I know Atlanta Airport had numerous cancellations yesterday just to get into some of those snowy areas. So around the country, lots of backups in air travel and also transportation on the ground. We've had closings of whole states, state of emergency in Pennsylvania and New Jersey. The New York metro area, the tri-state, Connecticut, southeast New York, states of emergency have been declared. This has been one blockbuster of a storm. We're going to take a look at some satellite photographs right now and update you on that. And quite an impressive satellite photograph right now. You can see some of those bright clouds offshore and south of Atlantic Canada. That's actually rain out over the ocean, but the blue area over New England and down to about New Jersey and Delaware, that's still snow that's hugging that coastline as this low pressure system moves on out to sea slowly but reluctantly. Recently we've had reports of up to 5 inches of snow in 1 hour at Gloucester, Massachusetts. Still kind of heavy around Boston and down towards southwest Connecticut, New York City getting another burst of light to occasionally moderate snow. You can see it's a real coast hugger. It's on the coast all the way down to Norfolk and up to southern Maine. The islands of Maine are getting some fairly heavy snow, but it doesn't go inland too far, as that map would show. On radar, we'll zoom on into the northeast and put it in motion, showing that Albany has been on the fringes all along. Binghamton, New York didn't get anything out of this after having one of their all-time heaviest snowfall seasons before this storm already. Binghamton escaped the wrath, so to speak. The Delaware Valley getting some more snow. Long Island Sound, Dover, Delaware. It's still snowing, but it is finally showing some movement offshore now. Most of the snow, although the Boston area, it's going to be some time before you really calm down. You can see those darker greens giving you moderate to heavy snow in Boston, 1 to occasionally 2 inches an hour still in the metro. New York going to light snow right now. Southern New Jersey still getting some snow, but Philadelphia almost out of the woods, and Baltimore and Washington lightening up very, very rapidly right now. As we zoom in and show you the megalopolis getting still some residual effects from this storm. Now, elsewhere and in other types of weather, we can take a look at some of the marine warnings that we have. As we go down and see some of that snow tapering off around Washington and Richmond, we have had some havoc on the coastline. In fact, we're looking at some coastal warnings anywhere from New England on down to the middle Atlantic states, and those coastal warnings have been, in some cases, storm warnings. And the snowfall forecast still in there for 6 to occasionally more inches of snow on the Maine coast and also Massachusetts. Now back to our storm warnings and coastal flood warnings. We still have a coastal flood warning for a while longer in Massachusetts, Long Island Sound, and also the Outer Banks. And those storm warnings for 55 to 60 mile-an-hour winds showing up with some gale warnings on south of Fenwick Island, Delaware, to the Little River Inlet in South Carolina. So the storm certainly has left its mark. It's been a memorable storm in the eastern United States. Not really over yet in eastern Massachusetts or southern Maine, but the snowfall tallies go on, and it has been the largest on record in some major cities in the Northeast. Thanks for staying tuned to the Weather Channel. We'll continue to update you on this storm every half hour in this format in the next few hours, and also we'll go back to the studio for the forecast too. So stay with us.
Thanks a lot, Mike. And this afternoon's weather is sponsored by Gardetto's. Some people will do anything for the robust taste of Gardetto's Snack Mix. Quick look at current conditions across the country. We do have some cold air, as you might suspect, behind a storm of this magnitude. It'll stay in the 20s and maybe low 30s in most of the southeast today. 60s over southern Arizona. That's the current reading. It'll warm up nicely into the 70s and 80s. Have a bit of a warm front with some patchy freezing drizzle, maybe a flurry or two expected over northwest Minnesota, northeast North Dakota. And the cold front's moving through central Oregon, but it's slowing down because off the coast we do have what appears to be another area of rain moving on shore. Let's check a satellite view in motion. What you'll find is the cloud cover starting to work its way towards northwest California and into southwestern Oregon. Now the satellite in motion, again, will show you some of that rain as it works its way a little closer to the coast this afternoon and tonight. All right, let's check it out for you, the forecast. You'll notice tomorrow morning another area of low pressure driving southeastward through the lakes. The rain increases in northern California and into Washington and Oregon. Very chilly weather tonight. The skies will clear and we'll see quite a bit of radiational cooling, lows falling into the teens and 20s. Hopefully climbing a little bit warmer by midweek with a return to some very mild conditions in southern Texas.
I can't believe we're out of Gardetto's.
Where's Grandma?
Some people will do anything for the robust taste of Gardetto's snack mix.
Lots of deadlines, lots of money, lots of screaming. It starts to burn a hole in your gut. Antacids are more prevalent in the brokerage industry than coffee is in Colombia. I take Tagamet HB. Tagamet HB works. You don't have to chew it, you don't have to drink it. You could take it and go on with the rest of your life.
New, the first multimedia CD-ROM from the Weather Channel. Everything weather is the essential guide to the whys and wonders of weather. Track current hurricanes just like the experts. Compare them to the tracks of the greatest storms of the 20th century. Explore a complete climate database of more than 500 U.S. cities. Go global to look up information for international destinations. Plan each day with a beautiful weather photograph using the Daily Planner. In-depth analysis of tornadoes, thunderstorms, and winter storms. Read and print out 95 articles explaining amazing weather phenomena. View over 250 dramatic weather photographs and see over 40 one-of-a-kind video clips. Connect to a local forecast for over 200 U.S. and international cities. This easy-to-use weather reference CD-ROM is a great gift for the whole family. Now available for Windows, in stores everywhere, or order directly from the Weather Channel for only $40.95. Call 1-800-633-2222. That's 1-800-633-2222. Order now.
We've all seen those $1 a week or so much a unit life insurance offers. But what you may not realize is, for a guy my age, many of those plans provide less than $700 of life insurance protection.
That's not such a good value.
But Globe's long life policy features a level $10,000 benefit that's available from the very first day the policy is issued.
With no waiting periods or reduced coverage in the first few years. It only costs $1 to start a Globe Long Life policy. This lets you review it. If you're not completely satisfied, return it within 30 days for a complete refund.
Applying for coverage is easy. No physical exams. You just answer a few health questions.
See for yourself why a good price doesn't always mean a good value. Maybe that's why millions of people have Globe policies.
Call Globe today.
For complete information and applications, call Globe today at 1-800-622-1030. Call 1-800-622-1030 now.
Know what conditions to expect when you reach your destination. Watch the Business Travel Forecast, only on the Weather Channel. Weather you can always turn to.
Let's take a look at the international weather. It's been a little active over western sections of Europe because the upper-level winds keep delivering the storms from the Atlantic, scooting them northeast towards the British Isles. The rain has been locally heavy at times. We've had winds gusting over 40 miles an hour in the British Isles, and you can see some of that thicker cloud cover as it advances its way through Spain, Portugal, and western France within the past 2 hours. Also a little bit of a weaker system holding together and sliding across the Adriatic towards Athens. Our forecast for midday tomorrow shows this wavy warm front dropping south out of the North Sea and then kind of becoming stationary over central Italy, heading down towards Athens with some cold rain perhaps. Cold enough for snow, including Yugoslavia, and we'll find near normal conditions in central and eastern France. A few showers in Brussels with temperatures in the low 40s. Cloud-filled skies expected in Rome, and in Vienna, a cloudy day coming up with highs in the mid-30s. We'll have more on this winter storm for you in just a moment.
You could take this for your stuffy nose, this for the cough, this for the aches and pains, or you could take Comtrex. Comtrex has all the medicine you need to relieve all your major cold symptoms. So why take all these when Comtrex does it all?
From the sore throat experts who harness the wild cherry, there's Luden's sugar-free, with a cherry flavor wild enough to be called Luden.
Sun, snow, rain, or fog. Know what to expect. Just 95 cents a minute. Dial 1-900-WEATHER and connect.
There's no hassle, no haggle, no pressure, no dicker, mean no deals?
No way. At Geneva Ford, the home of the no dicker sticker.
You'll get Ford quality and service.
And a wholesale club price on every new Ford.
Get a 7-passenger Windstar for just $203. A best-selling Taurus for only $222 a month.
Only till 9 Monday.
Get Ford quality and service
at wholesale club prices.
Only at Geneva Ford,
the home of the no dicker sticker.
Call 1-800-96-FORD now.
Welcome to Ryder Adult Home, a beautiful country estate providing 24-hour care for independent living. Recently built, residents enjoy home-like surroundings. Owned and operated by Ann Ryder, registered nurse, every daily need is carefully regulated and heartfelt attention is given to transition.
I believe this time of life should be enjoyed with good humor.
Just a third to a half the cost of a nursing home. Call.
watching the Weather Channel for accurate forecasts at your convenience. Weather you can always turn to.
Well, we've had a report, Chatham police out on the Cape report that tidal conditions appear to be worse than the 20th of December, and there are some homes threatened here this afternoon as we have these strong winds, northeasterly winds just buffeting the east side of New England. You can see the heavier snow band stretching from south of Portland down through Portsmouth, New Hampshire, north of Boston. We've had some very high snowfall rates. We had a report earlier today that snow coming down at the rate of close to 5 inches in an hour's time. Still snowing hard around Cape Ann, heading to the south and west here of Boston. This whole area starting to pivot but turning more to the east. There's another weak weather system starting to have some influence on the big storm and starting to kick it a little farther east today. And that's also some very heavy snow from the Berkshires heading out of Dutchess County and a little bit farther to the south. That's not the end of it, because we still have lingering snow heading south. We'll have more on the cold in a moment.
Centrum? I just feel better knowing I'm taking it.
Centrum's complete. Every time a vitamin makes news, I check my Centrum label, and Centrum's got it.
It's Centrum's commitment to ongoing research that ensures you always get the best nutritional support. A more advanced multivitamin. Centrum, always more complete than any leading brand.
The Centrum people thought of everything.
Like they say, from A to zinc.
Centrum, more complete from A to zinc.
Lots of deadlines, lots of money, lots of screaming. It starts to burn a hole in your gut. Antacids are more prevalent in the brokerage industry than coffee is in Colombia. I take Tagamet HB. Tagamet HB works. You don't have to chew it, you don't have to drink it. You could take it and go on with the rest of your life.
All right, let's take a little gander at our winter storm. First and foremost, for folks traveling, or let's say planning on traveling into the Northeast, if you're in other parts of the country, this is the way it still stands. Boston, JFK, LaGuardia, Newark, Dulles, Richmond, Philadelphia closed. You're going to have to just keep calling ahead, because sometimes, certainly, these airport closings are due to change. We've had some indication that Boston may reopen later this afternoon, but again, that's just tentative at this time. The blizzard of 96 in all its glory. Look at the record 24-hour snowfalls that occurred. Philadelphia, 29.5 inches of snow in 24 hours. If you're a snow freak, if you love the big ones, well, and you're in Philly, this is the one. Lynchburg, Virginia, 20 inches of snow in 24 hours. And as far west as Kentucky and Ohio and West Virginia, we've had very heavy snow from this storm. In fact, Cincinnati had enough to establish a record 24-hour snow, picking up close to 13 inches of snow from the storm. Elizabeth, New Jersey, 32 inches. Philly at 30. D.C., at least that's out at Dulles. That's the IAD. 25. Boston, I believe, is up to 13. And there have been some higher totals in eastern New England, eastern Massachusetts, Connecticut, and Rhode Island. Hartford picking up at least 15 inches of snow. If you were to look at it, let's say kind of an aerial view of how much snow has been dropped, you can see that heavier band coming out of the central Appalachians and then pushing a little farther east of the mountains as we go into central Pennsylvania. Another area as you head across northern Jersey. And we've had some heavier snow totals also now reported as you head on up into parts of New England. So this is your general zone of over 2 feet of snow. I had a report from High Knob, Virginia, 40 inches of snow from the storm. There it is. It's moving out to the northeast. The winds are starting to shift a little bit more now into more of a northerly direction. That's good for the concerns as far as coastal flooding is concerned. This afternoon we had reports that around Chatham that the water level is higher than it was back on December 20th. You remember that storm that we had to deal with. Now the winds are forecast to start shifting around more into the north, and that should lessen up the impact from the piling up of the water with that change in the wind direction. There is actually another weather system coming in across the lakes. It's not very strong, but as it's coming in, kind of gives this one a little bit of an extra boot, so it'll be scooting out towards the northeast as we go through the afternoon. There's your satellite view. Here's that weather system. Now, those are just the higher clouds, but nonetheless, that's the leading edge of the next system coming in from the northwest. And you can see the back edge of the clouds here gradually pushing farther to the southeast. And we've had still the heavy snow piling up from south of Portland. You work down along the coast around Portsmouth, Cape Ann, North Shore of Boston, heading down towards Worcester. There's actually a second band of heavier snow in the Berkshires of Massachusetts. If it holds together, it could push back into the Litchfield Hills in northwestern Connecticut and give you an additional couple of inches of snow this afternoon. This all continues to rotate its way slowly towards the east. But if you watch the motion on the moisture here, you can see it's kind of doing that curl coming back into the North Shore of Boston. So we're still getting reports of very heavy snow. All right, let's take a look at our forecast to check it out. Snowfall-wise, we'll start cutting down. The snow will pile up through this afternoon, but then there'll be a decrease as the storm starts to push its way a little farther out to sea. Also a bit of lighter snow in the forecast for the hour ahead of Minnesota and northern Wisconsin. Coastal flood warnings still for Long Island Sound. The Outer Banks, it's sound side flooding. Winds coming in very strong from the northwest, so piles the water up on the west side of the Cape. So on the Sound, we do have the potential for some flooding. And there are still gale warnings in effect along the Georgia coast from Little River Inlet, heading up to Fenwick Island, and then from that point north, all the way up to Merrimack River as you head north of Boston. We still have storm warnings in effect. Lots of cold air, of course, preceding the storm. Never really moved anywhere across northern and central New England. And the storm track being far enough south, northern New England spared the brunt of the storm. 31 below, that's the current wind chill in Burlington. It feels like about 10 to 20 below around Boston Metro. And even as far south as Georgia, Alabama, and Mississippi, we have had single-digit wind chills this afternoon. 8 at Montgomery and 23 the current wind chill in western Florida. That's at Tampa.
Shelley, you need some medicine for that cold. Shelley? Shelley? Shelley, it'll make you feel better. It's Dimetap Elixir. And it's your favorite flavor, grape.
Dimetap, the #1 doctor-recommended brand for colds. Doctors know a medicine can't work if your child won't take it. Doctors say Dimetap for good reason. And for colds with coughs, try Dimetap DM.
When I have diarrhea, I could use some comforting. I get it from kaopectate. Just a couple spoonfuls of creamy, soothing kaopectate is all it takes. Kaopectate, there's still nothing else quite like it.
International weather. Now, 42 minutes after every hour, only on the Weather Channel. Weather you can always turn to.
And now it's time for the Michelin Drivers Report, brought to you by Michelin and your participating Michelin dealers.
Plenty of snowy travel combined with strong winds, so the blizzard warning continues in effect for eastern Massachusetts. Best bet, stay at home. This is not going to be pretty through this afternoon, even into early this evening. The snow will gradually start tapering off, and we'll see some improvement. At least we won't be adding to that incredible snowpack. There's a little more snow in the forecast for the mountains of Washington, Oregon, maybe the high Sierra in California, and then spreading a little farther east. And we have some nuisance patchy drizzle showing up ahead of that warm front in the northern plains. Very strong winds heading along the coast from Boston south. Even in Florida today, some brisk winds. There may be some redevelopment of the stronger winds over Missouri and eastern Kansas, and then downwind of the mountains in Wyoming. Exceptionally strong winds into tonight. There's that rainy travel. The rain will actually start increasing once again by late this afternoon or tonight in southwest Oregon and northwestern California.
Presenting the ultimate tire for your sport utility vehicle, the Michelin LTX. Michelin's technological advances in sidewall and tread design give it a smoother, quieter ride than you might ever expect from a 4x4 tire. Yet it's rugged enough, tough enough, Michelin enough to get you through anything. the LTX series from Michelin.
Find Michelin tires at this dealer near you, because so much is riding on your tires.
At 42 minutes after the hour, you can find out what the weather is like in Germany and Spain. At 42 minutes after the hour, you can see the temperatures for Italy and France. And at 42 minutes after the hour, we explain how the conditions for England and Russia can affect travel plans. Watch International Weather. Now, 42 minutes after every hour, only on the Weather Channel. Weather you can always turn to. And now your local forecast. Accurate, convenient, and dependable. Only on the Weather Channel.